Air.
What's up, everybody? We're just coming at you, the CMD Network. That's for Cross Media Discovery Network. We're coming at you with all things nerdy, whether it's from IT advice on your Windows or Linux machines, some hacking or counter hacking stuff, some console gaming stuff, some PC gaming stuff, anything from board games. We're going to be setting up D&D tonight, movies, books. We're going to kind of have a broad coverage, which is why we chose cross media discovery. So, as always, come discover your nerd with us. We're going to start out with a little bit of introductions, give you some of our street cred, that good old fashioned nerd street cred. So we're going to go ahead and go in order of CMD. We wanted to get that play on words with the command line and networking and all that stuff. It's all nerdy. So we're going to go in order. We're going to start at the top with Chris.
Oh, hey. I am the C of CMD. My name's Chris. I've been a nerd really since I was a kid. I actually remember getting my first game console, which was an original NES. Played it with my sister all the time. Super Mario Bros., Duck Hunt, the whole 9 yards. And then since then, I've really progressed into a bunch of different passions. So I love gaming. I've played on every system from Game Boy to PlayStation to now primarily Xbox and a little bit of PC. And I play FPS shooters, RPG games,
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry,
pretty
guys.
much anything. I was like,
we're really proud of you,
sweet
Chris.
soundbite for my intro. Currently my top games are like Battlefield, Rocket League. I'm really into the esports scene, PUBG. But then like Matt and I always play co-op games together. So we're looking into like Remnant from the Ashes and Gears and all that good stuff. So, but I only start my nerdiness in the gaming sphere. At my core, I'm totally a literary nerd. So I just got my master's in English. I love reading. Currently, I'm in the middle of the Wheel of Time series, which I know Matt and David have read probably 10 billion times. So, um, so I love reading. I'm also a huge nerd when it comes to like TV and like streaming, but then also like film. So The Witcher, you better believe I binged all of that in about a
Oh,
week.
oh
So
yeah.
Please. So
I
good.
love Game of Thrones up until the final two seasons, and now I
Of
hate
course.
D&D forever. I
Everyone
scour
does.
Reddit every day, so if there's something on Reddit, I'm sure to be there. And then like shows like Barry, more comedy driven, I also love as well. And then finally, I am a huge D&D nerd, which you can thank Matt for getting me into, and David and David. They're actually my first D&D group. So yeah, I'm excited to discover with you guys, and hopefully we can all nerd out.
Right on. Awesome. Thanks, Chris. Next at the order, we're going to go with Matt. So,
All right. Yeah, I'm the M in CMD. Nerdiness is my core. If I wasn't a nerd, I wouldn't really exist. Because as a kid, I learned all the technological aspects of TV, computer, snuck in as much time using them as possible. And once when the TV was broken, my mom couldn't figure out the problem. And I came and just fixed the input on the TV as like a 4-year-old and fixed the TV. It was great. So I'm a technology god in my household. Um, while still young, my older brothers got the classic NES and they got the original Game Boy. And I loved them so much, like classic, like Super Mario Bros. 1, 2, and 3, Duck Hunt, Dragon Quest, Mario Land 2, the 6 golden coins, and Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3, the classic Pokemon Red, all those for the Game Boy. Love them so much.
nice.
I remember playing the
Pokemon
Game
Red
Boy
forever,
with,
bro.
oh, so good. But I loved playing those games, but it was the worst at night because you don't have a backlight on the original Game Boy. So you're like sitting by the corner of the window, hoping the light of like the passing lights will help you. And from there, I accidentally got into Warcraft. It was very much an accident.
Accidentally.
It really was. Yeah, my older brother snuck it into my house, and I got hooked.
I saw you on
And
that.
so, yeah, Warcraft 1, 2, Command and Conquer, Red Alert, some of the RTS. Yeah, those are all so good. From there, kind of evolved to the Nintendo 64 with Mario 64, Super Smash, the Game Boy Color, went to PlayStation 2 with Guitar Hero, Dance Dance Revolution, Wii for also Mario Kart and Super Smash, and I'm currently on the Xbox, Switch, PC, playing a little everything. My favorite games right now, Titanfall 2 is probably the best shooter there is. I love that game. To play it any day, forever and always.
3, please, EA.
Oh, EA and Respawn, please. Titanfall 3. I would be like the best thing ever. Hollow Knight, Cuphead are awesome. Super Mario Odyssey. Celeste is probably one of the most touching and best platform games I've ever played. But recently been really into Darksiders 3 and Destiny 2. Been awesome. Really big into D&D. It started in elementary school with me and my friends. We'd start some weird, messed up version of D&D that was like no dice rolling, no nothing. It was just us trying to make a story and the person in charge getting us all angry when he was just for no reason kill us. And then in 2013 got with some of those same friends into D&D as adults, and it just kind of gone from there. And I love creating worlds, trying my hand at my own god system lore. I love listening to different shows, like, of course, got to shout out Adventure Zone. Neo Scum is one of my favorites as well. 8-Bit Saga, Critical Role, of course, is up there. But I'm pretty big into Star Wars, Lord of the Rings. Been watch Star Wars and the extended version of Lord of the Rings every year. Love anime, Death Note, Avatar: Last Airbender, One Punch Man, My Hero Academia. There's a bunch. Rising Shield Hero. So yeah, but I have to mention that Captain Planet is probably the best show ever.
Captain Planet.
I love that one. That's what I could go back to every single time.
Are you also convinced that the kids on Captain Planet are the kids from Magic School Bus, but grown
up?
Of
course.
Yeah, we all know
we all know that's a thing, right?
Right.
And I'll just put a plug in for the McElroy family. I think I speak for all of us that we are all diehard fans, and that if they ever saw this and reached out to us, we would all just burst into tears because we'd be so pleased.
Yeah.
100%. If anyone out there knows how to get in touch with the McElroys, show them this video, show them what we're all about, because we're definitely gonna be doing some D&D stuff just like they do.
They're our inspiration.
Seriously.
So, awesome. Thanks so much, Matt. So we move right into the D. We're going to go ahead and start with David. There are two of us, right? So we've got two Davids. But we're going to start with the first David.
Are you the first or am I the first? We never established that.
You're the first. You're older.
All right. Oh, okay. Well, so we were going to have, the double Ds, but we didn't feel that was appropriate. So, I started off with my gaming career way back in the day with a floppy disk of Duke Nukem. Actually, played it on PC. It was a old school IMB, I think it was. I don't remember for sure, but ever since we got that going, it's been insane. I freaking love it. I've been gaming forever. I got into computer games. I got into all the RTS games for sure. When it really started to take off for me, though, was as soon as I got into Warcraft 2, actually. And ever since then, I've been hooked on the crazy fantasy world, just in general. Then I got into StarCraft. That consumed about 90% of my life. I got in World of Warcraft, and that was an absolute mistake because that is just a time pit. But ever since then, I've just been going with anything geeky, anything nerdy. I play Magic. I've been playing D&D for freaking years, on and off with groups. Playing Magic the Gathering, card games. I've never gotten into any LARPing yet, but there's still time, I guess. Watching all of the crazy fantasy movies. Lord of the Rings and Star Wars. Yeah, I know, right, yet. Lord of the Rings and Star Wars has to be my top favorite fantasy shows that there is out there. And I mean, this is my life. This is who I am. I'm a nerd for life. I'm a geek. I don't plan to stop. Nothing I do will ever compare to the awesomeness of geeking out. So, yeah, that's where I'm at.
Until your sworn enemy strikes you down.
My sworn enemy is afraid of me. I will not be made afraid of.
All
I think I
right.
said that right.
Well, right on. Thank you so much. And then myself, the last D. I'm also David, right? And to be honest, I've been a nerd all my life, but I didn't want to be a nerd when I was in high school, right? I thought I was like, oh man, I looked at the D&D table and was like, no, I'm not playing that. I didn't get into Magic. I didn't do any of that stuff. But I was always a gamer, and I grew up in a house with parents who we watched Star Wars all the time. When Lord of the Rings came out, that was huge. We were big book readers, but I didn't want to be a nerd, so I didn't really jump into that pool. I've had a huge gaming career. I love gaming. I've been PlayStation all day, every day. That is my diehard. I'm a big Sony fan. I love the PlayStation, and I've had one since the first generation of PlayStation. I bought a PS2 right when it came out. I bought a PS3 right when it came out, and I got the PS4 right when it came out. And you damn well better believe I'm getting that PS5 on pre-order. Right? That's just how I roll. I love PlayStation and Sony. So you'll find me on there all the time, and that's where I really started that kind of nerd career. And then when I decided that I was going to jump in, I didn't dip my toes. I jumped nice and deep into that deep end. So I do some analysis work for the Army, which gets pretty nerdy. The stuff we've got to do there. It's just sitting in a room filled with a bunch of nerds. About 2 years ago, David, number one, he introduced me to D&D. That was the first time I'd ever played D&D. And he actually had to convince me, and I'd say that's the point when I jumped really into just accepting and embracing my nerdness. Ever since then, I have loved D&D, and then we got together with Matt and Chris, developed a group, and that's when I really fell in love with D&D. Matt and Chris both introduced me to the Adventure Zone, which is a huge inspiration for me and what I will try to do on this campaign with you guys. Although I'm not as funny as Griffin, so I just gotta,
no one is.
Right.
No one is.
That's hard. It's hard. And then I go to school for cyber forensics and security, so ethical white hat hacking, right? So I spend all day inside Linux command lines, the command line for Windows, PowerShell, all that kind of stuff. I do Metasploit. I've made keyloggers. I've made viruses. I've made malware, and implemented it onto other systems, all that kind of stuff. So when I jumped into that nerd realm, I jumped deep into that nerd realm. So we'll hit us up anytime if you're hoping to see different types of advice or anything like that on IT, or any of the media that any of us have talked about, right? Xbox, Nintendo, PCs. I know I'm an Android user. I don't know what types of phones y'all. I don't know if we have any iPhone users in this group. If we do, I'm going to tell you that it's time to grow up. Get rid of the Tonka toy and get a grown-up phone.
You got your Canon string over there,
right? But that's kind of what we are, and we want this channel to just kind of talk about all things nerdy. So we'll be taking advice and input from any of our viewers, any of our audience, that kind of stuff. I think we're going to be trying early on to have, so we've got this Twitch that we'll be managing. I think that we're going to be uploading audio in a condensed form to podcasts. If you've got friends that you think would really enjoy listening to a good D&D podcast or anything like that, We'll be editing down and cutting out a lot of the garbage, like not garbage, but just the banter, or if we're interacting with people live on Twitch or anything like that, we'll kind of cut some of that stuff out so that people are just getting the story on podcast form. And then because Twitch is only going to hold on to videos for 15 days, we'll also be uploading videos to YouTube. Things like that. So I think those are our top 3 priorities right now, but pay attention to other social media sites because we may be coming out on those as well.
Yeah, and just a quick word to that. So on Twitch, we have the chat up, so feel free to message us on there. We'll be looking at it. And then, honestly, we want you guys to reach out to us and let us know what kind of content you want to see. If you've seen things from other kind of networks or podcasts that you thought were funny and you want us to try them out, maybe new games to try, films to see, whatever, feel free to email us at thecmdnetwork@gmail.com, and we will read all your emails and hopefully integrate that stuff into future shows.
Right.
Yeah. And one thing that I'd like to actually see too, I've got some games that are co-op games that are online. If people want to get on and stuff, and message me, let me know, like, hey, I want to try out this new game. I'm playing Ultima Online right now, or I'm playing Summoner's War on my phone. You want to let me know? I'd be happy to hook up with you guys, and show you some ropes, maybe do some raids, do some dungeons, things like that. Let's just kind of get this to be a community thing where everybody gets together and does stuff. And we're just out to have fun, and that's the big thing, is we're just out to have fun with everybody.
Unless you're an iPhone user, then
Unless you're
gone.
Right. Then you or your phone are going going to hell. So you pick. It's just your soul. Just your soul. I'm just kidding. If you're into the iPhone thing, that's okay. That's just proprietary stuff. That's you're just limiting yourself. That's all.
It's okay for you to be wrong about life. That's all right.
Right.
Accept your sin.
Just know it.
There are 2 types of people in this world. There are people who think that Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and there are those that are wrong. So
Exactly.
I'm on board. I get it.